Welcome to our debate section. Your goal is to listen carefully, think critically, and share your opinion. There are no single correct answers. What matters is being able to explain your ideas clearly and respectfully. This section will help you practice important speaking skills such as expressing opinions, agreeing and disagreeing, giving reasons and examples, speculating about possible solutions. So get ready to think, speak, and debate in English.
All right, Elizabeth, can you believe how much education has changed? Just in the last, 5-10 years? It feels like just yesterday online learning was this niche thing, and now it's practically everywhere.
Oh, absolutely, Philip. It's wild, isn't it? I remember when I was in university, the thought of doing a whole degree online was almost unthinkable. You had your physical campus, your lectures, your library. Now, my niece is doing most of her college coursework from her bedroom, and she's thriving.
Exactly. And it's not just universities, is it? We're seeing schools, vocational training centers, even corporate training. Everyone's moving to digital platforms in some capacity. It's really fundamentally shifted how a lot of people approach learning.
It really has. And I think for a lot of people, the biggest draw, the absolute game changer, has to be the flexibility. That's what I hear most often when people talk about why they choose online courses. You can literally fit an education around your life, not the other way around.
That's such a huge point. Think about someone working a full-time job, or a parent with young kids. Traditional 9-to-5 classes are just a non-starter. But with online learning, they can catch up on lectures in the evening, after work, or even on a weekend. It reduces so much stress, allows them to manage their time better.
Yeah, and it opens up education to so many more people who would otherwise be excluded. Like that university student you mentioned. Maybe they're working a part-time job to pay for their tuition or living expenses. Attending recorded lectures in the evening after their shift. That's not just convenient, it's essential for them to even pursue higher education.
It truly levels the playing field in that sense. And beyond just the when, there's the where. You could be traveling, you could be living in a remote area, and still access top-tier courses from institutions anywhere in the world. That's phenomenal, right?
Absolutely phenomenal. It's like having a global classroom right at your fingertips. And that brings us to another massive advantage, which is the sheer amount of resources available. Online platforms aren't just about static textbooks anymore. They're packed with interactive exercises, discussion forums, digital libraries, videos.
Oh, the videos! That's something I wish I had when I was studying. Being able to rewatch a complex lecture segment, pause it, take notes, and then rewatch it again if I didn't quite get it the first time, that's invaluable for deep understanding. No more frantically scribbling notes and hoping you caught everything the first time around.
Seriously. And let's not forget the interactive elements. Quizzes that give you instant feedback, simulations, even virtual labs in some fields. It makes learning so much more engaging than just sitting and listening. It's active, not passive.
And for those in remote areas, as we touched on, it's a lifeline. Imagine wanting to specialize in a really niche field, but the nearest university offering that course is thousands of miles away. Online education bridges that geographical gap, making high-quality, specialized learning accessible to virtually anyone with an internet connection.
It truly does. And I think one of the more subtle benefits, but really significant, is the way online learning encourages independence. When you're managing your own study schedule, setting your own pace, deciding when to tackle assignments, you really have to develop strong organizational skills and a lot of self-discipline.
Yeah, it forces you to become your own project manager for your education. You can't just rely on the bells ringing or a teacher looking over your shoulder. You have to be self-motivated, proactive. And those are incredibly valuable skills that translate to any career path, any aspect of life, really.
Definitely. And it's interesting, some people actually feel more confident participating in online discussions. They might be shy in a large, in-person classroom, hesitant to raise their hand or speak up. But in a forum, where they can take their time to compose their thoughts, read others' responses carefully, it really empowers them to contribute.
That's a fantastic point. It allows for a different type of voice to emerge, which can only enrich the learning experience for everyone. So, on the surface, it seems like online education is this perfect panacea, right? All these incredible advantages, but of course nothing's ever that simple. There are some pretty significant downsides and challenges too.
Oh, absolutely. And for me, the one that immediately springs to mind is the social aspect, or rather, the lack of it. That face-to-face interaction, those spontaneous chats before or after class, grabbing coffee with a study group. You really miss that in an online setting.
Yeah, it's a huge one. Education isn't just about absorbing facts. It's also about developing social skills, learning to collaborate in person, building a network. When you're just interacting through screens, it can feel quite isolating. You miss out on those informal learning moments and the camaraderie that comes with being physically present.
Right? And group work, while technically possible online, just isn't the same. It often lacks that same dynamic, that spontaneity. You can't just quickly bounce ideas off each other in the same way. It requires a lot more deliberate scheduling and communication, which can be exhausting.
And that leads us into the next big challenge, which is motivation. You talked about independence earlier as a strength, but it can also be a weakness for some. Without the structure of a physical classroom, the direct supervision of a teacher, some students really struggle to stay focused and motivated.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've all been there, right? Trying to work from home, and suddenly that pile of laundry looks incredibly interesting. Or your phone pings with a notification, or a family member needs something. Home is full of distractions that a dedicated classroom environment just doesn't have.
It's true. The line between home life and study time becomes really blurred. And let's not even start on the technical issues. You're deep into a crucial lecture, and suddenly your internet connection drops, or your computer decides to update. Talk about frustrating and disruptive.
Ugh, the dreaded spinning wheel. Or the audio cuts out just as the professor says something critical. It really does reduce the quality of the lesson, and it can be incredibly demotivating when you're already struggling to keep pace.
And then there's the elephant in the room when we talk about accesses and flexibility, the issue of inequality. While online education promises to open doors, it can also exacerbate existing divides. Not every student has reliable high-speed internet. Not everyone has a quiet, dedicated space at home where they can focus without interruption.
This is so crucial, Philip. We talk about the digital revolution, but it leaves behind a significant portion of the population. If you don't have a modern device, or your internet is constantly buffering, or you live in a crowded household with no quiet corner, suddenly those amazing online resources become totally inaccessible.
It becomes an additional barrier rather than a bridge, and it really highlights that while the technology is there, the infrastructure and equitable access aren't always guaranteed. This digital divide can actually widen the gap between students who have resources and those who don't, which is the opposite of what education should be doing.
Exactly. So, while we celebrate the flexibility, the rich resources, and the push for independence that online learning offers, we absolutely have to acknowledge these significant challenges: the isolation, the motivation hurdles, and especially the deep-seated inequality.
Which brings us to the big question. What's the solution? It feels like we can't go back entirely, and we can't go fully forward without addressing these issues. Many experts are starting to lean towards what they call a balanced approach or blended learning.
Oh, blended learning. I think that's the sweet spot. It's about taking the best of both worlds. You get the flexibility and resource richness of online platforms for certain aspects, perhaps lectures, self-paced modules, or review materials.
And then you combine that with the irreplaceable value of face-to-face interaction. So maybe you have in-person seminars, hands-on labs, group project meetings, or dedicated social sessions. That way, students still get the social development, the direct interaction with instructors and peers, and that sense of community.
It makes so much sense. You get the structure and human connection that can boost motivation, while still benefiting from the convenience and vast resources that digital platforms offer. It's about being strategic with how we use each format.
And it could also help mitigate the inequality issue, at least partly. By having some physical presence, schools can provide access to technology and quiet study spaces for those who lack them at home. It's not a complete fix, but it's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Ultimately, education is a human endeavor, and while technology can be an incredible tool to enhance it, it can't completely replace the human element, that direct connection, and the communal experience of learning together.
I think that's a perfect way to put it. Online education has undeniably changed the landscape, offering incredible opportunities, but it's also presented us with new puzzles to solve. Finding that balance, that optimal blend, is going to be key to shaping the future of learning for everyone.
Definitely. It's an exciting time to be involved in education, and it'll be fascinating to see how these models evolve. Thanks for this great chat, Philip.
My pleasure, Elizabeth. And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey through the digital classroom. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to Listen Up English. By subscribing and sharing our content, you support the channel and help more learners develop their English listening comprehension.
Throw the ball, play together.